Good evening, sir. It's our pleasure to have you on this.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to be on your program.
Yes, sir. We are so glad to have you on the RUACH half hour. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm aware you've been on set. How is that going?
I am actually on set right now in Enugu. So I just took a little time out now to be able to do the interview and go back.
Well, thank you very much for that. So in order not to take too much of your time, get straight to the interview, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. May we meet you? May we meet you, sir?
Oh, my name is Zachee Orji, actor, filmmaker, acting coach, producer, director, ordained minister of God, husband and father, media consultant. I could just go on and on and on.
Wow. Yeah, I have that written here. It says you were ordained ordained a reverend in 2012 by Bishop Lawrence Osage in Powerline Bible Church.
2013.
2013. Wow. That's awesome to know. But may we know, sir, how did your acting career begin?
Well, it began 27 years ago.
27. That must be 1991?
93.
93. Okay.
Professionally, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, professionally, okay.
Yeah. Since then, I have been consistent up till this day.
Yeah, and it record shows that you've acted in over 200 Nollywood movies, which that's good to know. So, sir, I would like to know what exactly are have you faced any major challenges? What exactly has been the most challenging moments in the industry?
As an actor?
Yes, as an actor.
Well, as an actor, you definitely find out eventually that every character you played is demanding. Because basically, every character is demanding, it's challenging. Because basically what an actor does is to create the illusion of being someone else, of being another character, putting himself in the character of another person that has been described in a story, in a set of circumstances that make up the script, and convince the viewer that he is that character of a truth. So for you to leave your own person, leave your own skin behind and enter into the skin of another person and convince an onlooker or a viewer that you are that person, it is always challenging.
What would you have to say about...
Sorry?
Sir?
What did you say?
What would you have to say exactly about consistency creates character? Does that have anything to do with what you just said?
No, what I meant by consistency is that from the day I started up till this day, I've been consistent.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And exactly
during all that process, I grew from being just an actor to a producer, from a producer to a director, took different processes to move from one stage to another. And the last major masterclass in acting that I did was in Rwanda in 2018, where I had about 465 young people who registered for an acting class.
That's good. During that, you had your most challenging moments. Obviously, the exciting moments. Would I say easy moments?
I don't know where it's coming from. The network is bad, so you're breaking up. I can't hear you well.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, so I was saying, viewing the fact that you've had your most challenging moments, you would obviously have the most exciting moments also. Some of these times, at least since 1993, you will definitely have exciting moments in the industry. Times when everything just went fine, and it was like it was very swift for you. What would you say? Was it a character role? Was it what exactly was it?
That got me excited.
Yes, the easiest thing for you being on set as a character, now as an actor,
My exciting
the easiest role.
moments as an my exciting moments as an actor is when my work is commended by the viewers. Is when people tell
Mm,
me that is when people tell me that they've been inspired, that they've been touched, they've been impacted by my work. And I have had um, I have had such commendations coming from people from all over the world that they've been impacted by my work. And some of them said some of the movies we have done have really, mirrored their own personal lives, and they have gotten inspiration, and it has touched and changed their lives for the better. So my
okay.
most exciting moments are always when I'm working and I know that I am living my character and that I'm impacting the lives of people when they watch. Those are my most
Now,
exciting moments, when people are touched by my work.
now, just before we go on, let me go back a bit. Because these days it's a little bit difficult for actors to get directors to notice them. So how exactly to bring yourself out? Was it through monologues? How exactly were you able to bring yourself out?
Sorry, can you take that again?
Yeah, I said, how were you able to bring yourself out to directors before they called you for work? Obviously, you must have done monologues or something. What exactly was it? Just monologues you did, or did you have to go to an acting school, like some people say?
Um, the thing with this work is that when you put in cognitive years and you keep doing and you have a body of work over time, people already know what are your capabilities. And when they are casting
Yeah.
for certain roles, when they are casting for certain characters, for certain roles, you just naturally come to their minds. So most of the times I just get a phone call to invite me for work. Sometimes I have to go and do some reading with some people, to be able to help bring up some younger people to do, to audition. But most of the times, it is the body of work that I have out there that has been speaking for me by the grace of God.
Okay, so you would advise that most of these young upcoming actors, you would advise to go into monologues for starters.
Monologues are good, but dialogues are also good because
Okay, so between
at the end
monologues
of the
and
day,
dialogues,
sorry,
which would you advise for starters?
I like dialogues better because I get a feel from my co-actor when there's a dialogue. Because
Mm,
most of the times as an actor, you focus on not on yourself, you focus on your co-actor to get across from them, to be able to achieve a certain chemistry with them, to achieve a certain communion with your co-characters. When you do that, you feel what you're doing right there. So monologues are good, but I prefer dialogues. Dialogues means that, for example, you have your co-actors working with you. Everybody comes up with their own dialogue. While your co-actor is speaking, you are listening. You are listening, and that
yeah.
engages you and tells you when you are to come in with your own dialogue and how to respond to your co-actor to create a moment for the audience.
Yeah, because I was actually going to ask that question about most people on set, they say they are waiting for their partners to deliver well before they can deliver well. Now, is that the same thing in your at least for the years you've been in the industry? Is that the same thing with you, sir?
Well, it's not so much, it's not just a question of each character delivering their own lines. It's a question of the characters involved in any particular scene to be able to achieve a certain communion amongst themselves, to be able to achieve a certain chemistry amongst themselves. When they are able to do this, they create moments, and it is these moments they create by the chemistry they achieve that attracts the audience to be glued to what they are doing.
So if I'm correct, you would advise that on set there should be this chemistry between actors and actresses, because I discover some.
There has to be chemistry.
Because I discover some just want to go on set, and it's like they don't want to. They just want to come here, do what they came to do, and leave. They don't want the whole. This person is talking to me. That person is no. They just want to come on set, do what they have to do, and leave. Would you say that is wrong?
You can only just come and do what you have to do if you're doing a monologue. But if you are working with your co-actors, your primary consideration, first of all, is the audience. Your next consideration is to be able to achieve a chemistry with your co-actors so that you can draw the audience into what you're doing and deliver the message of the scene of the movie to them. So achieving chemistry helps to create moments, and it is these moments that pull the audience to what you're doing as an actor.
That's quite good. That's a lot, sir. We really appreciate. I would want to ask you what can you say about the 21st century Nollywood style of acting, sir?
Well, one thing is very clear. Acting is the same, whether it is by a new generation, whether it's by an older generation. Acting is the same. There are certain basic techniques, there are certain basic rules, there are certain, basic things, tools that you need. All of these things, they come together to create moments when actors are on set. So it doesn't matter whether you call them new generation or old generation, the craft is the same. From one country to another, the craft of acting is the same. Do you understand?
Very well, sir. Very well, sir. I noticed that at least I've been privileged to be on a few sets, and I have come to know that some producers or directors, as the case may be, are very keen on the costumes. What would you say this is an issue we have in Nollywood, as the case may be? Would you say the issues of costumes, the background, flowing with the costumes of the person and all, would you say this is a problem we have?
First of all, every movie is a collaborative job from different departments. We have two basic groups here on a set. We have the crew and the cast. When you come to the cast, you have different characters. When you come to the crew, you have different crewmen who occupy different responsibilities, and everybody works together to create the picture, the motion picture. So every department must be up and doing. It is a collaborative work. Do you understand?
True.
For every movie
Yes,
you watch,
sir.
there's a collaboration that has gone on with between amongst different departments to be able to create the picture you're seeing on the screen. So that is key. Every movie, every project is a collaborative work. Sorry. So like I was saying,
Sir.
every movie project is a collaborative work. Different departments must come together to create a picture, a motion picture for the audience to view and appreciate and be impacted. That's what we do. There are definitely difficulties, logistic things that we face as we do this. It is not always a smooth job, but every department,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you learn over time to perfect your work and make things easy. So there is always preparation that must take place before the actual thing is done. We have pre-production, we have the post-production, and we have pre-production, we have production, and then we have the post-production after the movie has been shot. These are the different stages of every particular movie project or every particular motion picture project. So there are 3 stages: the pre-production, the production, and the post-production.
I would like to find out, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I would like to find out, do you wait until you are being called for a job before you put in work, as in rehearse, or do you just jump in front of the camera and make magical stunts?
No, you don't just jump. First of all, you get invited and you get to read the script. As an actor, you request for the script, because the script is like the Bible of any particular production. It is the script now that it is the script that will determine for the director, for example, who gets invited, or for the production team, like the producer, the director, and their crew members or the executive producer. It is the script that determines for them who they invite to the job, both as crew and as cast. So it is the script, first of all. That is one major part of pre-production, getting the script ready, because the script goes through different drafts.
Stages.
Sometimes for a particular script, you might have up to 10 drafts before you actually arrive at the shooting script that you have for the project. So that script is now what determines every other thing that happens in a production.
Now, you mentioned being a Christian, and then from what we've read, an ordained reverend. Now, how are you able to, will I say, combine these things together? Because there's this natural feeling of once you're in the industry or once you're an actor or an actress, they feel you have to live, the person is living a wayward life, so to speak, in a sense. So how exactly have you been able to combine these things together? And
well, let me make something very clear. As a human being, you learn to multitask. That's number one. Number two, people need to understand that acting is a profession. That filmmaking is a profession. As respectable as any other profession. Just like you have the good and the bad in the entertainment industry, you have the good and the bad in every other field of human endeavor. It's not about the profession, it is about the human being himself. It is about the person himself who is involved in any particular craft or who is involved in any particular profession. So people cannot just make sweeping statements or just feel that, okay, people in this department or people in this industry, they are all wayward. That is very presumptuous, first of all, and that is not giving the right due or respect to any particular profession. So for me, I consider that one profession is as respectable as another profession. And just like you have the good and the bad in every human being, we all carry that good and the bad into every profession that we're involved in as practitioners in any particular profession. So it is not about the profession, it is about the individual that is involved in any particular profession. Just like one day somebody asked me, a press person asked me, you know, a question, say, why do we have so many divorces in the movie industry? And I tell them it is not true. If you read some newspapers or magazines, you'll discover that just like you have divorces in the movie industry, you also have in the banking industry, you also have in every other industry. So it is not about the industry, it is about the persons involved in the various crafts that they practice in whatever industry they belong to. So it's about the individual concerned, not about the profession itself.
All right. Quickly, sir, could you give us, as a director now, could you give us one of your hardest moments? What has been so difficult as a director, bringing people together to act a script? Has any character basically given you problem on set? Have you had issues with possibly the DOP? Had issues with possibly the camera operators? What has, as a director now, what has been your most challenging, sir?
Well, for me, I will just tell you the process I go through. As a director, the first thing is reading the script and being able to have a creative vision for the work you're about to realize. That is key for any director. And
True.
one of the basic challenges you have as a director is to be able to share this vision with your cast and crew. So it is key as a director to be able to share your creative vision for any particular film project with your cast and crew, so that you can carry them along as you work on the project. When everybody on the set is able to share the creative vision of the director, things become easier. They are able to follow. You are able now to share with the actors, for example, how to approach any particular scene. You're able to share the kind of, you let the actors read the script and have it sink in them also. Some people believe in result-oriented. Some people believe in result-oriented directing. That is, you already have ab initio what you want to do, and you tell the actors, I want tears, I want this, I want that, I want, give me anger and stuff like that. But I have always chosen to work with actors and collaborate with them to be able to achieve my creative vision for any particular movie project. So you let the actors come up also with what they feel, because it's all about feeling the character you're playing, being able to listen to your co-actor, getting a drift getting a drift of what your co-actor is saying, so that, for example, when you are delivering your own line, even if you don't get the exact same lines of the script, you are able to paraphrase or you are able to improvise. So most of the times, a director will allow an actor to improvise where he's able to achieve his character better. Because sometimes as an actor, for example, you discover that the choice of words used by a writer may not be suitable for you as an actor. So you choose now to paraphrase and use similar words or groups of words or terms to be able to achieve the same thing. That is where improvisation comes in. And as an actor, as a director, you should be able to allow the actors to improvise, because it is an integral part of the craft of acting. So there are a lot of things involved. The issue of realizing a script itself is a major challenge for every director. But for me, the first thing I do is to understand and get a full grasp of the script, and then know if there is a rewrite that is necessary. And then we do drafts and drafts and drafts until we get a shooting script. Then you're able to have a creative vision as a director for that project, which you are able to share with your cast and crew and carry them along as you work on the project.
Very, very quickly, sir. There's one question that was placed here. It says, please help us ask, okay, how he combines his Christian life and his roles from interfering. That is in the sense that when the church is calling you and then the industry is calling you, how are you able to, what do you do?
Well,
What do you do, sir?
every responsibility I face has its own space in my life. You take things one at a time. If I am called to go and minister in a church and I have a project to do, the two of them cannot clash because one has to take precedence over the other.
True.
Good. So if, for example, I am doing some work and I get an invitation to come and minister in a program, as a matter of fact, most of the times they ask me to give a time that is convenient for me, knowing the line of work that I'm engaged in. So most of the times, if I have to go for any ministration anywhere, I always agree on an appropriate time. For example, a minister calls me and says he wants me to come and minister in his church. And I ask him, when? First of all, I ask for the topic they want me to speak on, and I ask them when. That definitely I will need enough time to prepare that message, to work towards that. And then we agree on time. So it's always a question of meeting each other somewhere, having a meeting of minds in terms of the theme, in terms of the time, and in terms of every other logistics surrounding all of that. Sometimes it is an engagement outside the country. For example, my last engagement as a minister was in Swaziland, in the Kingdom of Swaziland, and it was in the month of February, just before the pandemic set in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent 1 week in Swaziland with God's Glory Ministries, and it was a
God's
wonderful
glory.
time. But before then, the minister had come to Nigeria, and we had contacted me before. When he came to Nigeria, we met and we agreed on an appropriate time for both of us. So eventually they made arrangements for my tickets and I traveled. So it's always an agreement in terms of the time. So that's why I said every project I'm involved in has its own space and time in my schedule, in my life. So when I'm involved in this, it has its own time and schedule. But overall, what we must understand is that God is the creator, or is the, how will I put it? God is the father of all creation and creativity. That's what we must understand.
Yeah.
The Bible says, let us make man in our image after our likeness. In other words,
Yeah.
when it's just like your dad, the preacher man. I mean, there are aspects of your father that are in you. There are other aspects of your father that are in your other siblings. There are aspects of your mother that are in you. So in the same way, there are aspects of God that are in us, in each and every one of us. Let us make man in our image after our own likeness. It means that everybody, it didn't say let us make Christians or let us make Muslims or let us make atheists or whoever. Let us make man. That is referring to humanity in our image
Yes,
and
sir.
likeness. So it means that every human being has some divine deposits in them. Every human being
True.
has aspects of God in them. That's why the Bible says we are gods. We are gods. So
Yeah.
we find that now everybody has been gifted in one area or another. So God is the father of all creation and creativity. And if you must excel in your area of calling, whether as an actor, whether as a minister of God, you must go back to the same God. So when people say, how do you manage as an actor and as a minister, I tell them it is the same God that put in me these gifts that I'm
Of acting.
expressing. That's right.
Yeah.
So he is the same God of creation and creativity, of inventiveness, of everything that you can find as a gift or a talent or skill in every human being. So As long as you go back to him, he will give you guidance and direction. That's what I believe, and that's what has been guiding me. The grace is always sufficient for me.
Yes. So I'm taking a look at some of your movies here. I see the Three Wise Men, Games Women Play, The Bridge, and some others. Are we to be expecting anything new from you, sir?
Very soon. I have a major work
Very
that
soon.
I'm going to direct this month of August. I mean, 2 projects I'm directing in Lagos. Once I return,
Okay.
I'll start assembling my crew and cast.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
and
So
it's
in a
going to be
nutshell, okay, in a nutshell, to wrap everything up, basically it means that wherever or whatever practice you're in, you can use it to glorify Jesus. That is, you can also
definitely,
use the film industry.
you can use it to glorify God, because the gift He has given you is for His own glory, not your own glory. The life you are living is for His own purpose, not your own purpose.
True, his purpose there.
So that is the issue. If only people will understand that, things will be a lot easier.
True, true, true. All right, thank you very much, sir. In so that we don't take too much of your time, what advice are there any advices you have for the upcoming generation of actors and actresses?
The only thing I will say to them is
Yes, sir.
simple. Discover your craft, discover your skill, discover your talent, discover who you are, and build your wisdom around it.
Yes, sir.
Because
That's
those are
correct.
the seeds that God has put in you for greatness. So building your wisdom around it demands a lot of things. It demands preparation, it demands practice, it demands focus, it demands taking initiative
Mhm.
sometimes, but it also demands consistency, staying there. You have to have a passion for what you're doing to be able to sustain you. And above
True.
all of these things, above all of these things, if you do not have integrity and character, you're not going anywhere. You must have
Thank you very
integrity.
much, sir, for
Yeah.
thank you very much, sir, for giving up this time to be with us and answer these few questions on Rock Half Hour.
Thank you.
We really appreciate this, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's
Until next time, my name is Ehimika Enoch, and be blessed. Join us again next month, every first Saturday on Work Half Hour. Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Zach. Sir.
Thank you for the time. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
All right, take
Yes,
care.
sir. And you too, sir.